Hello everyone, greetings to all of you. So today we will study the second chapter of social and political life of class 7, that is institutional representation of democracy. Right? So first of all we will revise that what all we have studied in this chapter with the help of this diagram. Right? So in this chapter, the institutional representation of democracy, we saw or we studied that how do democracies functions, right? How do democracies functions, or what are the institutional forms and processes associated with democracy, right? So the institutional representation of democracy includes universal adult franchise, it includes elections, political parties, coalition government, and then we studied about the democracy in India, right? So first of all, what is universal adult franchisee? What is universal adult franchisee? First of all, franchisee is a right to vote granted to the citizens of a country by the government, right? And in India, every citizen, every adult who is above 18 years have the right to vote, irrespective of their race, gender, religion, economic or social status. And this right to vote, given by the modern democracies, is known as universal adult franchisee, right? So universal adult franchisee is the right to vote. Then next we studied about the elections. So what is the election? Elections are the process by which the citizen of a democracy select or choose their representative, right? So the elected representatives, or the persons who are being elected by the elections from different parts of the country, meet in a body called assembly or parliament, right? So then we have seen that elections are held after different time intervals, and generally there are three types of elections held in India, that is general elections, by elections, or midterm elections. So first of all, what is general elections? In India, elections are held once in 5 years, right? So elections are held every 5 years, and these are known as general elections, which are held in 5 years. What are by elections? Sometimes what happen when a member of parliament or state legislature dies in office or resigns, elections are held in his or her constituencies before the completion of 5 year, right? So when a person resigns or die or anything like that, or resigns his office, so elections are held before 5 years, and these are known as by election. Then what are midterm elections? If for some reason the president, on the advice of the prime minister, dissolves Lok Sabha or state assembly, elections will again be conducted before a term of 5 years, and these are known as midterm election. So in midterm election, the president, on the advice of prime minister, dissolves the Lok Sabha, and elections are conducted before 5 years, and these are known as midterm elections, right? In this, for elections to be held in a fair, neutral, and free manner, there is some professional body required, right? That the political parties as equal and all the candidates as equal. So the body which administers a neutral, fair, and professional application or system of election in India is known as election commission. So what is election commission? Election commission is a body that is empowered to resolve any disputes about the election results, and it is the responsibility of election commission that all the elections are being held in free and fair manner. Then what are electoral constituencies? India is a vast country, and to make elections truly representatives, each state is usually divided into a number of small units called electoral constituencies. So these constituencies are drawn in such a way that all of them, or each constituency, consists roughly of the same number of people in them, right? Then what are election campaigns? When the president announces about the next election, and the chief election commission announces the date for the next election, all the political parties starts their meetings, they starts their gathering, they decides their political manifestos or election manifestos, and they organize different functions, rallies. So these are all known as election campaigns, right? Then after this, what is the process? Polling takes place. What is polling? When polling on the appointed day or on the date of the election, each and every person goes to the polling booth to cast their vote, right? And to ensure that the people cast their vote without any fear, without any pressure from someone, there is a system of secret ballot, or every person have to cast their vote in secret, right? Now, after the votes, next what happens? There is a declaration of results. So after elections are over, election commission's next job is counting of votes and announcement of the names of successful candidates. And on this, once this declaration is over, the job of election commission is also over. And how do people win? When there are declaration of results of election, some people won by absolute majority while some other won by simple majority. What is absolute majority? When a candidate secures more than half of the votes polled, he or she is said to have won by absolute majority. But sometimes the votes are divided in such a way that none of the candidates get absolute majority, and such person is said to have won by a simple majority. So after the votes, after the declaration, what happen is that the government is formed, right? And we know that in India there are different political parties: Indian National Congress, INC, Janata Dal, Bharatiya Janata Party, and so on, right? So countries, all the countries in the world of follow different types of party system, right? Some countries like China have a single party system, countries like USA and United Kingdoms have two party system, but in India we follow multi party system, right? So on this basis, there are two group of parties, that are national and regional. So what are national parties? The national parties have a base in four or more than four states. So the parties who have their base in four or more than four states are known as national parties, while on the other hand, the parties which have their base in less than four states, right? So these are known as respective parties. Okay. Now, the last topic which we studied in this chapter was democracy in India, right? So, we know that India is the largest democracy in the world. Ideally, in a democracy, all citizens should be equal, right? In India, it would mean that the rich and the poor, Muslims, Hindus, Brahmins, Dalits, men, women, all are equal before law, right? There is no distinction between any person irrespective of their caste, religion, gender, skin color, anything, right? But still this remains a dream for most of the people in India. So for the Indian democracy to become more stronger, we need the following things, right? We need the following things, that is, there should be responsible citizenship, there should be good leaders, there should be good public opinion, there should be tolerance, there should be equality, and so on. So let us see what all these features are. So first of all, let us discuss responsible citizenship. So, in a democracy where people elect their leaders, there is a great responsibility on the people who elect or who cast their vote in elections, and such people are also known as electorate. So if the people have to make the right decision, they have to make their right choice, they have to be very responsible. For this, it is necessary that Indian citizens should be educated and made aware of the value and importance of their vote, right? Secondly, we need good leaders also, right? So to lead a huge democracy like ours, in or like the democracy of India, we need strong, good, and honest leaders, right? People who put We need the people who put national interest ahead of their personal interest, right? Since they represent the people in the government, they should have the welfare of the nation close to their hearts. So we need really good leaders for our country. Next is the public opinion, right? What is public opinion? Public opinion is the opinion or the view of a section of a society on various issues of public concern, right? The opinion of the people on various concerns or on various issues is the opinion of public, right? It is a public opinion. So for public opinion to develop, the people should be literate, right? They should be educated. For a democracy to be effective, the electorate or the people who cast their vote should be capable of analyzing and understanding the problems the nation faces. A literate public would be better equipped to form a correct opinion about the government and its functioning, and it makes our democracy more strong, right? Next is tolerance. How this is required in how tolerance is required in our country or in democracy, because we know we know that India is a land of various cultures, various religions, and so we can say in short that India is a land of multi-religion, multi-religious, and multicultural land, right? So safeguarding the interest of all is not a easy it's not an easy task. So a democracy which is the rule of the majority should not forget the interest of minorities also. What are minorities? The people who are less in number in our country, right? So it should ensure that the constitution describes equal. So people should cultivate tolerance and learn to respect each other and each other's interest, right? Next is equality. So we already know that democracy rests on two pillars, or there are the two main pillars of democracy, and these are equality and justice, right? So what does equality means? Equality does not stop with political equality, right? As in giving all the citizens right to vote, but it includes social, economic, religious, cultural equality, and so on, right? So these are all the requirements of a good democracy in India. So these are the requirements. So children, I have just give you a short summary of the entire chapter, so that anytime you feel like having a recap or you feel like revising the chapter, you can just watch the first part of the video and can revise a whole chapter well, right? So now let us do the exercise of this chapter. Okay, so in the exercise, first of all, there are fill in the blank, and the first one is the right to vote granted to the citizen of a country is called, it is known as franchise, right? Next, in South Africa till 1994, the dash were not allowed to vote in national elections. So in South Africa till 1994, non-whites, right? Non-whites were not allowed to vote in national elections. Next, in India, elections to the parliament that are held once in 5 years is called. So the elections which are held once in 5 years are called general elections, right? Next, the body which conducts elections in India is it is known as election commission, right? The body which conducts election in India is election commission. Last, when a candidate secures more than half the votes polled, he or she has won by dash majority. He or she won by absolute majority. When a candidate secure more than half of the votes polled, he or she won by absolute majority, right? Next is true or false, right? First one is China has a two-party system of political parties. No, this one is false, as China has one-party system. Next, a democracy needs leader who put national interest before personal interest. True. Yes, this is the requirement of the democracy in India, that we need the leaders who put national interest before their personal interest. So this one is true. Next, campaigning can continue till the day of the elections. No, campaigning cannot continue till the day of the elections. The campaigning has to stop at least 2 days, which ends on 6 p.m. The campaigning ends on 6 p.m. 2 days before the polling day, right? Next is Some constituencies are reserved for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. True. This one is true. Yes, some constituencies are reserved for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Right? Next, answer the following question. And first one is, the right to vote was not always a universal right. Explain with example. So for this, come to page number 10. So for answer number 1 on page number 10, second column, the answer will start from here. In the early democracies, only some people were allowed to vote. For example, first example is from here. In the United Kingdom, only male landowners who were Protestant by faith could vote. This is first point. After this, second point here, second example starts from here. In South Africa, from here, in South Africa, cut the words till as recently, till as recently as 1994. So you can write, in South Africa, non-whites were not allowed to vote in national elections till 1994. Right? In South Africa, non-whites were not allowed to vote in national elections till 1994. Right? So this was our answer number 1. Now question number 2 is, what are elections and what are the requirements for fair elections? For this answer, come to page number 11 of your books. So the first part of the answer starts from here. Elections are the process by which the citizens of a democracy select or choose their representative. This is the first part. For the second part of the answer, come to the same page, the second column under the heading requirements for fair elections. So under the heading requirements for fair elections, we have to write this in points. First is, all the citizens should have only one vote. This is first point. All the citizens should have only first vote. Then the same thing, then after this it's written and. So after the and we will write the second point, all votes should carry same value. Right? The second point will be, all votes should carry the same value. Then third point is, people have to vote, they should have choices of many political parties. Right? So third point is from here, we have to cut few words here. We have to cut in India we have. Right? Cut these words, in India we have. And the third point will read as, if people have to vote, they should have choices of many, after choices, right, of many political parties. Fourth point is here, elections should be held regularly here. Right? Fifth point is, elections should be conducted in an atmosphere of free of fear and violence. Right? This till here it is, till violence it is fifth point. Then sixth point will start from here only, there should be no compulsion on the voters to vote for a particular candidate. This is sixth point. So I'm repeating again, or I'm telling the points. First one is, all citizens should have only one vote. Second point, all votes should carry the same value. Third point, if people have to vote, they should have choices of many political parties. Fourth point, elections should be held regularly. Fifth point, elections should be conducted in an atmosphere free of fear and violence. Sixth point, there should be no compulsion on the voters to vote for a particular candidate. Right? Question number 3 is, name any 4 political parties of India. So for this we have to come to page number 14. So you can see on page number 14, under the heading political parties, there are the names of various political parties given. So you can write the name of any 4 political parties. Right? The next question is, differentiate between by-election and midterm election. Right? So here we have to differentiate between by-elections and midterm election. So we will just differentiate it by writing the definition, that what is by-election and what is midterm election. Right? So for this answer, come to page number, you have to come to page number 11 of your book. For this answer, we will put the heading by election and we'll write from here when. Right? So when a member of parliament or state legislature dies in office or resigns elections, are held in his or her constituency before the completion of 5 years, and this is called by election, right? Till here. After this, from here, if for certain, then we'll put the heading midterm election, right? And we'll write from here, if for certain reasons the president on the advice of the prime minister dissolves the Lok Sabha or state assembly, elections will be conducted ahead of 5 years, and this is called midterm election, right? So here till here. Question number 5 is, what is a constituency and why are some constituencies reserved in India? Now for this answer, come to page number 12 of your books. Page number 12, under the heading electoral constituencies, our answer will start from here. To make elections truly representative, each state is usually divided into a number of small units called constituencies. These constituencies are drawn up in such a way that all of them consist roughly of the same number of people, right? Till here. Now for the second part of the answer, we have to write from the very last line. Of these constituencies, some are reserved for from more disadvantaged backgrounds, like people from scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, right? After here, you have to write because from here, for many from the scheduled tribes and scheduled castes, winning elections from unreserved constituency would be next to impossible, right? So I'm repeating the second part of the answer. Of these constituencies, some are reserved for people from more disadvantaged backgrounds, like people from scheduled caste and tribes, because for many from the scheduled caste and tribes, winning elections from an unreserved constituencies would be next to impossible. So this was our answer number 5. Now question 6 is, differentiate between absolute majority and simple majority. So for this differentiation, again we will just define, or we will just narrate what is absolute majority and what is simple majority. For this, come to page number 13 of your books. On page number 13, first we have to write the heading absolute majority and have to write from here, when a candidate secures more than half of the votes polled, he or she is said to have won by absolute majority, right? Then we have to put the heading simple majority and have to write from here, sometimes the votes polled may be divided in such a way that none of the candidates may be given an absolute majority. In such a case, the person who gets the most votes, then you have to cut these words, even if it is only one more than the vote won by his rival. Just cut this word, right? So it will read as, in such a case, the person who gets the most vote is declared the winner by simple majority, right? So you have to write till here, simple majority. This was our answer number 6. Now question number 7 is, what are the different types of party systems in the world? What system does India have? Right, so I am dictating this answer, kindly note it down in your notebooks. Countries around the world have different party system. A, single party system, B, two party system, and C, multi party system. I repeat, countries around the world have different party system, the single party system, two party system, and the multi party system. India has multi party system, right? India has multi party system. Now next question is, what is a coalition government? And for this answer, come to page number 15 of your book. Answer number 8 will start from here, page number 15, under the heading coalition government. It will start from here. After the elections are over, the party gets of seats in a parliament or the state assembly is invited to form the government by the president governor, and this is called coalition government, right? So this is the answer. I repeat my answer. After the elections are over, the party that gets the largest number of seats in a particular parliament or state assembly is invited to form the government by the president governor, and this is called the coalition government, right? This was answer number 8. So now there are multiple choice questions, and first one is the right to vote granted to only some citizen of a country by the government is called. Options are a franchise, universal adult franchise, universal franchise, or universal male franchise. So assuming that the question is asking about, it is saying na ki granted to only some citizens, so we assume that it is being granted to only male citizens. So here we are marking option number D, universal male franchise, as the correct option, assuming that the question asks for the that the right to vote is being given for the male citizens of the country. Though children, here the question is not very clear that whether the question is asking for the question says granted to only some citizens. So who are some citizens? Whether they are adult citizen or whether they are male citizen, who are those some citizen? So here we are just assuming that they are talking about male citizens, and here the correct option is D, universal male franchise, right? Now next is, in which country were non-whites allowed to vote for the first time in 1994? And the options are the United States of America, South Africa, Britain, or Australia. So here the correct option is South Africa. So for the first time, the women were allowed to vote in South Africa. Sorry, non-whites were allowed to vote in South Africa. Next, in India, general elections are held. Option: once in every 4 years, once in 5 years, every year, or every alternate years. So we know in India elections are held once in every 5 years, and they are known as general elections, right? Next, which of these practices would not result in a fair election? Options: all citizens have only one vote each, there is only one candidate standing for the election from a constituency, elections are held regularly, elections are held in an atmosphere that is free of fear. So we know here that citizens have one vote, and elections should be held regularly, and elections should be held in an atmosphere that is free of fear. So the only feature that should not be present in fair election is there is only one candidate. So here the option is B, right? So fifth one is, the constituencies are drawn up in such a way that, options: all of them consist of roughly the same number of people, all of them cover roughly the same area, they consist of people speaking the same language, or they consist of people belonging to the same religion. So here the correct option is A, all of them consist of roughly the same number of people, right? Now option is, the parties are allotted their symbols by. Who allowed the parties their symbols? The President of India, Prime Minister of India, the Chief Election Commissioner, or the leader of the political party. So the symbol is being the parties are allotted the symbols by the leader of the political party himself. So here the correct option is D, right? Now next, seventh one, if a candidate wins a seat by simple majority, it means that two-thirds of the voters wanted him or her to win, more than half of the voters wanted him or her to win, more than half of the voters did not want the candidate to, none of the above. So what is simple majority? Here they have not given the correct definition of simple majority, so here we will mark none of the above, right? Next, China has multi-party system, single party system, two-party system, or no elections. So China has we know China has single party system. So here a correct option is A, single party system, right? Now, a national party is one that contest elections, options from at least two states, from at least four states, for at least one state, from every constituency in the country. So national party is the one which contest election from at least four states. So here the correct option is B, right? Last, which of these will not help to make the Indian democracy stronger? Will not help, right? So let us read the options. Citizens who are aware of their power of their vote, citizens who are educated and tolerant, citizens who do not have a strong public opinion. Do not have, no, we know we want a citizen who have strong public opinion. So here the option is C. So on this note, we have completed this chapter this chapter of chapter number 2, institutional representation of democracy. I hope all your queries are being cleared. Still, if you have any query, any doubt, anywhere you can't understand anything, you can anytime comment at the comment section. As soon as I'll see the comment, I'll just reply it to you. Also, once you complete your chapter, do inform me under the in the comment section that you have done your work along with your names, right? I am keeping a record of each of the students who have completed their work, keeping a record of each and every student, right? So make sure that you comment under this section, and just have a good day ahead and just complete your work. Okay, thank you for watching, students.